There's a lack of understanding that what we put on our backs, on our bodies today in terms of clothing, actually becomes the problem for another nation across the water. We donate the clothing and the problem becomes theirs.
There's a lot of chemicals that end up in these clothing. For example, whether it's the dyes or the actual fabric itself, that ends up seeping into your skin and pretty much affecting you and your health.
Rana Plaza in Bangladesh, that factory collapsed. The physical structure of the building was so unsafe that the factory collapsed, killing hundreds of textile workers. And so it was an example of, I believe the companies had completely just ignored building codes, safety in the amount of people allowed to be in the building. On average, a piece of clothing is worn about 7 to 10 times. So someone gets a piece of clothing and within 7 to 10 times, it's hitting the landfill. That's something in OwlSwap we try to address, is taking a piece of clothing and extending its lifetime.
We have the notion that living sustainably has to be this big thing. Never buy new clothes. You need to drive your Toyota Prius. You can't do any of the things. I think what people have to accept and realize that any progress is progress. You don't have to dive straight in. You can start with the little things, build up. You don't have to do everything. Do what's comfortable for you. If farming's your thing, you want to get a few plants, then you do that. If thrifting's your thing, thrift the clothes.
Like as an artist, I keep a lot of materials. And the way that I see it is that a lot of things can be a part of an art piece. So for example, I have 2 drawers full of just fabric. Maybe it was a design on a t-shirt that I really liked, so I cut out the design and I kept it for a future project.
I think that it's so important for fellow students to see students being involved in these initiatives, because I think there might be some kind of perception that sustainability is hard to achieve. Hey, it's not that hard. Even as a student, I might be low on funds, I might not be able to do much, but I see what other people around me are doing, so that inspires me to do more. I bring my own Tupperware whenever I go out to eat at restaurants, so that I'm not contributing to styrofoam usage. I'm kind of using what's already made.
Composting definitely is one of those, I think, that people are intimidated by at first, but once you get into doing it in a small way, you're like, oh my gosh, my kitchen waste just became soil that I put on my tomato plant. And it's cool. You feel empowered. You feel excited that you did something. That's really cool what I just did. I grew my own soil and put it on a plant and I got something to eat. I think that's the really cool part of it all. So,
letting yourself be overwhelmed with how sheer sustainability is, as a whole, is hard. But you don't have to do everything. Just do what works for you.